habits. And a habit is formed by constantly doing something, doing an activity. When someone begins smoking, then, at first they probably don't really enjoy it, but they continue, and then it becomes a habit. And thinking, I suppose, can also become a habit. The absorption into thinking. So from meditation, we start to form a habit of observing thought. And this becomes stronger, just like anything that's practiced with repetition. If you lift weights, you just get stronger and stronger. So a lot of people have all of these habits that they don't want there, and they don't know how to get rid of the habit. Some maybe they do. So within the mind, as soon as you want to give something up, I suppose, then all of these thoughts will come up to deter you from breaking that habit. You want to give up chocolate cake or something like that. Oh, I'm not going to eat chocolate cake for the rest of this week. And straight away is the first thing that you want. You told your mind you can't have it, and it wants it, because all of the brain, all the mind, the ego, all that it wants to do is want. It's a big conglomeration of want and desire. So how do we break a habit? Basically, we have to sit in observation of watching those thoughts come up without entertaining them. So if the thought comes up about wanting a chocolate cake, if you want to continue the habit, obviously you go and eat the chocolate cake. However, if you want to break that habit, then you have to sit and observe and remain strong in that. Hold to your truth, hold to the truth. And it's not easy, but this is not entertaining it. And I don't mean when the thought arises of wanting the chocolate cake, you say, no, I can't have that, because this is still entertaining it. And then it becomes hard to break that, because you have two minds going on in there. One doesn't want to do this, the other one wants to do that. So then you just sit back and you observe that also, because neither of them are you. They're just thoughts that are rising up. So you sit in the truth, the thought rises, you're just aware, you don't move, you don't let it move you. No one else is going to be aware of it, only you will be aware of it, because it's within your brain. So you be aware of it rise up, and that's it. And that's it. No matter how strong it is, if you prevail, then gradually the habit will dissipate. And there won't be any thoughts of it at all. And this doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. It takes, I guess you could say, determination, but even that ends up dropping, because the thought won't even arise. So I suppose thought in itself, although it's a naturally occurring thing, it's also a massive habit of people. What is the most addictive thing? I used to say it was food. Now I would have to say that it's thinking, because people don't know how to stop. It constantly goes, and it can keep people awake all night, and overall it just causes people suffering. So breaking the habit of thinking, we apply the same method. We sit or stand or whatever sort of meditation in which you undertake. If you don't identify with experiences and stuff, have the experience. Once the experiences happen, then let it go. Because even clinging to an experience can lead to suffering. And that's entertaining thought. So we need to not energize thought. We need to cut off its source of food, its source of energy. And in order to cut off its source of food or energy is to not react, or is to not entertain the thinking. And we do that by just being still, being presently aware of the moment, externally, internally. Thoughts are coming up, falling, thoughts coming up, falling. This is what they do. You'll get to a point when you have some kind of breakthrough, I suppose, or several breakthroughs where you realize, oh my gosh, so this is what it does. It just comes up and I don't have to follow the thought. I'm aware of the thought. Obviously, if I need to go and pay bills, then I go and pay bills. So in watching thoughts rise and fall, you just sit and observe them from the point of view of awareness. And eventually there will be a detachment from the thinking itself. It can still be there rising, but you're aware that it's not you. There's all this traffic on the street. You're walking along. You can't get rid of the traffic. You may want to get rid of the traffic. There's a want there. What wants to get rid of the traffic? Obviously, it's the ego. Because awareness doesn't care. It doesn't care. It just is. It just is. And it's eternal. It's always been. I guess it will always be. So the cars are on the road. You're aware of them. That's it. You're not the cars on the road. You are aware of them. You can watch them go by. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that one. Oh, look at that one. And you won't even be saying this when you're watching thoughts. Because as soon as a thought comes up of, oh, I was aware of that thought, you slip back into thinking or entertaining. So we sit on the riverbank and we watch the river and the thoughts go by within the river. Because we know if you're walking along the street, that's all you're doing, walking. There can be a torrent of drama going on within the mind. But essentially all you're doing is walking. That is it. You might be looking, you might be walking somewhere, but essentially all you're doing is walking. That is the truth. And the truth is the liberation. But we can't conceptualize it as, this is the truth, I'm walking. We're just aware of the walking. We are just the experience of walking. We are just the observation or the observer of walking without clinging to that, without attaching to that. So essentially I believe what we're doing when we're coming back to stillness is creating a habit of no habit. And it takes a little bit of time, but anyone can do it. And it gets easier, just like riding a push bike. The first time it's difficult, but progressively it gets easier and easier. and you get to a point where it's you slip straight into it. Habits, letting go.